Fable 5 has been out for a few weeks now, and while everyone's busy comparing benchmarks, people on X have quietly been building some of the most unhinged stuff I've seen out of a coding model. So I went and pulled the best ones, real builds, real creators, real clips, and today I'm counting down 11 of them. Let's get into it. Number 1, Command and Conquer, running natively on iPhone. Look at this. This is the actual 2003 General's 0-hour engine, ported and running on a touchscreen like it was built for one. Here's what actually happened. Amar didn't emulate this. He had Fable 5 recompile the real CNC engine natively for ARM64. No emulator sitting in between eating your battery and your frame rate. This is the genuine 2003 codebase running the way Apple's chip actually understands it. And it's not a stripped down demo either. Campaign, Skirmish, and the General's Challenge all work, with touch controls built specifically for an RTS, which if you've ever tried to play a mouse and keyboard game on a phone, you know is its own separate problem. He open sourced the whole thing afterward, so if you want to see exactly how a 20-year-old C++ codebase gets dragged into 2026, the receipts are public. Number 2, a drone that pays for itself. Take a look at this. This guy strapped a scanner setup to a drone, and now every hour it spends in the air is worth $300 to him. Watch the green corridor drawn through the air on his phone screen. That's the actual flight path Fable 5 calculated. Altitude, speed, camera angle, all worked out so every building facade gets captured from the right distance. He's not even flying it, he's supervising it. The drone sweeps the street in Vietnam once at 4K 60 frames per second, and Fable 5 turns that single pass into a full 3D model of the block. Every shop front, every awning, every tangled bundle of power lines. Here's the actual business case. These are the alleys Google's mapping cars physically can't drive down. Delivery startups, property platforms, utility companies, they all need this data, and he's the one selling it to them. Number 3. A literal toy turned into a playable game. Watch this. It started as a physical toy sitting on a desk, and by the end of the clip, it's a fully playable mobile game. The prompt was basically just this: hey, Fable 5, turn my kid's toy into a mobile game, make no mistakes. That's it. No spec doc, no game design document, just pointing a model at a physical object and asking it to reverse engineer it into software. This matters more than it looks like it does because it's not really about the toy. It's proof that the gap between thing I own and thing I can build a game around basically doesn't exist anymore. Number 4, a screensaver that never repeats itself. If you take a look, this is procedurally generated VHS found footage of someone wandering lost through the backrooms, and it just keeps going. This one's less about utility and more about taste. The creator wanted to see if Fable 5 could hold an aesthetic for an unbounded amount of time, not just one clip. Grainy VHS scan lines, that specific found footage camera wobble, endless identical fluorescent lit hallways, all procedurally generated, meaning it's never the same loop twice. Still labeled work in progress, but as a proof of concept for AI generates infinite ambient horror content forever, this is genuinely one of the creepiest things in this entire video. Number 5, a dungeon that builds itself while you're standing in it. Check this out. This is a real-time procedural dungeon generator. The level is being constructed live, not loaded from a file. This is built in Three.js, which already tells you it's running straight in a browser tab, no download, no install. Procedural dungeon generation is one of those problems game developers have spent literal decades getting right. Think Diablo, think every roguelike you've ever played, because it's not just about randomness, it's about randomness that still feels fair to explore. That normally takes a dedicated systems programmer week. This took one guy and a prompt. Number 6, an entire fictional world flown through in real time. As you're watching this, that's Hogwarts. Not a screenshot, not a render, a fully explorable environment generated end-to-end by Fable 5. Matt didn't build this piece by piece. He asked for the whole thing and got a flyable 3D space back. Towers, courtyards, the geometry of a building that's never physically existed. All generated well enough to hold up while the camera moves through it. That's a genuinely different problem than a static image, because the model has to keep everything spatially consistent as the viewpoint changes, not just make one frame look convincing. If you've ever wondered what the model understands 3D space, not just pixels, actually looks like, this is it. Number 7, a creature whose voice comes from its own brain activity. Look at this thing. It has fur now and it's making sounds, but those sounds aren't pre-recorded. They're generated live from its neural network. Aaron trained this creature using reinforcement learning on a RunPod A100 using JAX and MuJoCo, DeepMind's own physics simulation stack, so it already knew how to move before Fable 5 ever touched it. What Fable 5 added was the fur rendering and the voice is the wild part. It's literally sonifying the creature's own neural activation pattern, the thing you can see visualized in the top left corner. When it makes a sound, that sound is a direct readout of what's happening inside its own artificial brain. Number 8, an entire game engine written from absolute zero. Take a second to look at this. It's a full Vampire Survivors clone, but there's no game engine underneath it. None of this exists as a file. Every sprite, every sound effect, every music track you're hearing right now is being generated by code at runtime live as the game plays. No image files, no audio files pulled in from outside. Pure C++, generating its own art and its own soundtrack from scratch. That's a far higher bar than build me a game, because Fable 5 had to reason about pixel art generation, procedural audio synthesis, and game logic simultaneously with zero shortcuts. Full source codes in the thread if you want to see how deep that rabbit hole goes. Number 9, a website, one shot, that looks like an agency built it. Watching this back, this is a single generated result. No revisions, no back and forth, just one prompt and one finished design. Mark's point here wasn't subtle. He posted this saying he genuinely doesn't see how web design careers survive the year, and looking at the actual output, it's hard to argue with him. This isn't a template with the colors swapped. It's original layout, original type choices, original composition, generated in one pass. Whether or not you agree with his prediction, the demo itself is the argument, and it's a pretty convincing one. Number 10, fish drawn one point at a time, live forever. As you watch this play out, every single fish in this pond is being drawn manually by code. There's not a single image anywhere on this screen. No PNGs, no SVGs, nothing pre-made. This is pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript calculating every fin movement and every ripple point by point in real time. That's a completely different skill than most of what we've seen so far tonight. There's no puzzle to solve, no system to build. It's pure generative art, and it lives or dies entirely on whether it looks and feels right. With the sound on, this might genuinely be the most peaceful thing Fable 5 has ever been used to make. Number 11, and the biggest scale of anything on this list, an entire city rebuilt from scratch. As you can see here, this is San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, the fog, the ferries, 27 tech headquarters, all generated, all at once. Pankaj ran this on Fable 5's extra high setting and asked for a full 3D map of San Francisco, and what came back was 2,600 individual buildings, moving ferries, rolling fog, all placed where they actually sit in the real city. This cost 20 million tokens to generate, which sounds like a lot until you realize what you're looking at is an entire city simulated from a single prompt. That's the note I want to end this list on, because if this is what one prompt can do to a city, extrapolate that out a year and you start to understand why everyone's still talking about this model. So that's 11 of the wildest things people have built with Fable 5 this month. And honestly, this list would have looked completely different a week from now. That's how fast this is moving. If you want to actually start building things like this yourself instead of just watching them, that's exactly what we do inside our community. AI Mate, links in the description. First 7 days are free. And if you want to see what happens when I take one of these ideas and actually build the whole thing live on camera from scratch, check out this video right here. Click it. It's on your screen right now.